Hey everyone, welcome to Reality TV News Update, the place where we bring you the latest updates, fun moments, and behind-the-scenes stories you won't want to miss. The Big Brother house was quiet in the late hours of the night. Lights were low, and most of the house guests had already settled into their beds. The soft hum of cameras filled the air as live feeds continued to roll. Viewers who stayed awake to watch the overnight feed had no idea they were about to witness one of the most uncomfortable and controversial moments of the season. Vince lay awake on his bed, staring at the ceiling. His thoughts were clearly restless. Earlier in the evening, he had spent hours talking with Morgan in the kitchen and later in the living room. Their laughter had flowed easily, and their connection seemed stronger than ever. Yet, there was an unspoken tension hanging between them. Everyone in the house knew that Vince had a girlfriend waiting for him at home. He often spoke about her during the first weeks of the game, but as the season progressed, his behavior toward Morgan began to change. Morgan was already under her blanket across the room. She had changed into her sleep clothes and was scrolling through her thoughts in the dark. She tried to focus on her own game and not on the growing attention from Vince, yet she could feel his eyes on her. After several long minutes of silence, Vince finally spoke. "Morgan, are you still awake?" She hesitated before answering. "Yeah, I am," she said softly. There was a pause. Then Vince sat up on his bed and looked directly at her. His voice was low but urgent. "Can you come sleep in my bed tonight?" The question hung in the air like a shockwave. Morgan sat up slowly, trying to process what she had just heard. Viewers watching the live feed immediately began reacting online as shock spread across the fandom. "Vince, you have a girlfriend," she said quietly. "I know," he replied. "I just feel alone tonight. I just need you beside me. Nothing has to happen." Morgan pulled her blanket tighter around her shoulders. The camera zoomed slightly, capturing the tension in her face. She looked conflicted, but also uncomfortable. This was not the first time Vince had crossed an emotional line with her, yet it was by far the most direct. "You cannot ask me that," she said. "People are watching. Your girlfriend is watching." Vince rubbed his face in frustration. "I cannot help how I feel. This game messes with your head. I just want to feel close to someone." Morgan stayed silent. Inside, she felt torn between empathy and alarm. She cared about Vince as a friend, but his request put her in an impossible position. She knew that no matter what she did, it would be judged by millions. "You were putting me in a bad spot," she finally said. "I do not want to be the girl everyone blames." He sighed and looked away. "I am not trying to make you a villain. I just cannot sleep. Come here, just for a little while." The request sent a ripple of disbelief through fans watching at home. Social media exploded instantly. Within minutes, clips began circulating online, with viewers debating whether Vince had crossed an unforgivable boundary. Morgan slowly stood up from her bed. At first, it seemed like she might actually walk toward him. Her steps were cautious, and her expression was torn. Vince lifted his blanket slightly, as if making space for her. Then she stopped. "No," she said. "I cannot do this. You need to think about your girlfriend, and about me too." Vince seemed wounded by the rejection, but he did not push further. He nodded and lay back down, pulling the blanket over his chest. "I understand," he whispered. Morgan returned to her bed and lay awake, staring at the ceiling. Her heart was pounding. She felt shaken by how close the moment had come to crossing a line that could not be uncrossed. For a long time, neither of them spoke again. The camera stayed fixed on the two beds, showing the physical distance between them that felt wider than the room itself. The next morning, the house awoke to whispers and side glances. Word traveled fast in the Big Brother house, even when no one openly admitted what had happened. Morgan kept her face neutral as she moved through the kitchen. Vince avoided eye contact for most of the morning. Eventually, the story leaked into quiet conversations. A few house guests noticed the tension and began piecing things together. By afternoon, the mood in the house had shifted. In the diary room, Morgan addressed the moment with visible emotion. "I care about Vince as a friend, but he has a girlfriend. I would never want to be part of something that hurts another woman." Vince, in his own diary room, struggled to justify his actions. "This game messes you up," he said. "I was not trying to cheat. I was just lonely." At home, fans were far less forgiving. Many felt that loneliness was not an excuse for betrayal. Others questioned whether Morgan had been placed in an unfair position by being asked at all. Vince's girlfriend, whose name was already known among fans, quickly became a trending topic online. Support flooded her social media accounts as viewers expressed sympathy and outrage on her behalf. Some demanded that she publicly respond, while others urged her to stay silent and protect her peace. The fallout continued to grow as entertainment blogs picked up the story. Headlines spread rapidly describing the late-night pillow talk and the controversial request. Some commentators framed it as an emotional affair, while others called it reckless and disrespectful. Back inside the house, the relationship between Vince and Morgan changed almost instantly. Their casual flirting disappeared, conversations became short and guarded, and their playful late-night talks were replaced with awkward silence. One evening, during a group hangout in the living room, someone finally addressed the tension without naming it directly. "Things feel weird lately," said one house guest. Morgan forced a small smile. "Yeah, the stress is getting to everyone." Vince stayed quiet, staring at the floor. Later that night, Morgan confronted him in private, near the storage room. "You cannot ever put me in that position again," she said. "I know," he replied. "I crossed a line." "It is not just about your game," she continued. "It's about your real life. Someone out there trusts you." Vince nodded slowly. "I hate that I hurt anyone." Whether that regret was enough remained uncertain. Fans remained skeptical. Many believed that the moment revealed a larger pattern rather than a single lapse in judgment. As eviction night approached, talk of the incident continued to ripple through the audience. Polls showed a sharp drop in Vince's popularity. Morgan, by contrast, gained widespread support for her refusal and her composure under pressure. Host commentary hinted at the drama without fully airing the unedited clip during the live episode. Still, enough was shown to confirm the story. The audience gasped as the brief footage played on screen. In post-show interviews, Morgan again reaffirmed her stance. "I never crossed that boundary," she said, "and I never would." Vince faced harsher questions. "Do you regret asking her? Do you think you disrespected your girlfriend? Are you trying to rewrite what happened?" He answered carefully, but the damage to his image was already done. Outside the house, his girlfriend finally released a short statement. She expressed disappointment and heartbreak, but also asked for privacy. Her words were calm yet powerful, and they resonated deeply with the audience. The moment served as a reminder of how real relationships collide with reality TV. The game may be built on strategy, manipulation, and emotional pressure, but the consequences extend far beyond the walls of the house. For Vince, the night of pillow talk became a defining chapter of his season. For Morgan, it became proof of her integrity under pressure. For viewers, it became one of the most talked-about late-night live feed moments of the year. As the season continued, the memory of that night never fully faded. It followed Vince in every nomination ceremony and every fan vote. It shaped how viewers interpreted every decision he made afterward. And for those who watched it happen live, in the quiet hours of the night, it remained one of the most uncomfortable moments they had ever witnessed on Big Brother. A moment where loneliness, temptation, and loyalty collided under the unblinking eye of the camera.
Big Brother house was unusually quiet late at night. Most of the house guests had gone to bed, and the only sounds were soft footsteps and the hum of the cameras. A few dedicated fans stayed up to watch the live feeds, unaware that they were about to see one of the most awkward and talked-about moments of the season. Vince lay on his bed, staring at the ceiling. He looked restless. Earlier that evening, he had spent time with Morgan, laughing and talking in the kitchen. Their connection seemed strong and natural, but there was tension. Everyone in the house knew Vince had a girlfriend waiting for him at home. He mentioned her often during the first weeks of the game, but lately his attention toward Morgan had become more personal. Morgan lay across the room under her blanket, scrolling through her thoughts. She tried to ignore Vince, but she could sense him looking at her. After several minutes of silence, Vince finally spoke. "Morgan, are you still awake?" "Yeah, I am," she answered softly. There was a pause before Vince sat up. His voice was low and urgent. "Can you come sleep in my bed tonight?" Morgan froze. She pulled her blanket tighter around her shoulders. Vince had crossed a line. Viewers watching the live feed gasped. This request was bold and complicated. "Vince, you have a girlfriend," she said quietly. "I know," he replied. "I just feel lonely tonight. I just want you beside me. Nothing else has to happen." Morgan felt torn. She cared about Vince as a friend, but she could not betray his girlfriend. She also knew how risky this was with cameras recording every moment. "You cannot ask me that," she said. "This is wrong." Vince rubbed his face. "I cannot help how I feel. This game messes with your head. I just want someone close." Morgan stayed silent. Thinking about the position she had been put in, she finally spoke. "I cannot do this. You need to think about your girlfriend and about me." Vince nodded and lay back down. "I understand," he whispered. The rest of the night passed quietly. Both Vince and Morgan were awake, but kept their distance. The cameras captured the tension, and millions of viewers debated online. Social media exploded with reactions. Some were angry at Vince. Others praised Morgan for standing her ground. The next morning, the house guests noticed something different. Conversations were quieter. Tension hung in the air. Vince avoided eye contact. Morgan kept her distance. No one directly mentioned what had happened, but everyone felt it. In the diary room, Morgan reflected on the moment. "I care about Vince as a friend," she said, "but he has a girlfriend. I will never cross that line." Vince faced his own reflections in the diary room. "I did not mean to cause problems," he said. "I was just lonely. This game messes with your head. I just want someone close." Fans outside the house remained divided. Some believed he had made a mistake. Others thought it revealed poor judgment. The live feed clip continued to be discussed and shared. Headlines and blogs picked up the story, describing the controversial pillow talk and Vince's unusual request. The moment became one of the most talked-about late-night events of the season. Morgan gained respect for her composure and decision-making. Vince faced criticism and a decline in popularity. During eviction night, the incident influenced public perception. Fans considered it while voting. Vince found it harder to gain sympathy. Morgan's popularity grew. After the season ended, interviews revealed more. Morgan reiterated that she had maintained her boundaries. Vince admitted regret. His loneliness did not justify crossing lines. The story also highlighted the impact of reality television on real-life relationships. The game is emotional and intense. Mistakes can have consequences beyond the house. For Vince, the pillow talk became a defining moment of his season. For Morgan, it became proof of her integrity and strength. For viewers, it remained one of the most shocking live feed moments of the year. The cameras continued rolling. The house went on with competitions and alliances, but that night lingered. It became part of the Big Brother legacy. A moment of temptation, tension, and loyalty captured forever in the unblinking eye of the live feed.